All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for, real people just like you and just like me. The crazy world of Mick Fleetwood, not to be confused with the crazy world of Arthur Brown. I think Mick Fleetwood has a little bit of Arthur Brown in him, if you've seen him bug those eyes out a few times. But nothing beats that God of Hellfire stuff. That's just classic 60s psychedelic music. The funny thing is Fleetwood Mac and Arthur Brown, right around the same time, got their start. Obviously, Mick Fleetwood is still trying to get on with it. And he's talking about bringing everybody who's ever been in Fleetwood Mac to the table for one giant final farewell. Now, I find this a little bit not what the fans probably want. Because, no offense, I don't want to see Campbell and Finn again. Billy Burnett and Rick Vito, they were great. They served their purposes. Anybody else who's still kicking around, who could get out there and perform with the band, okay. This is kind of like the greatest show on earth kind of idea. And it dovetails with, I think, their management's vision of putting together all these names on the marquee. And even if they don't show up on the marquee, it's basically just telling the world, look, we've brought the kitchen sink. You've got to go see Fleetwood Mac. Now, in the article I read, Fleetwood is saying, well, look, if I can get John McVie off his boat, which Christine McVie said a few weeks ago that John was frail and wanted to hang out on his boat. And she kind of retracted some stuff, but she also said, I'm getting too old for this. Basically is what Christine McVie said. I'm getting too old for this. And her vocals on the last tour, really kind of difficult to say that she's up to doing like a big finale, a big world tour. Maybe. Obviously, they've got a whole bunch of session musicians that work around the stage, basically, and help to augment the sound. And by the way, with what we know about all of these vocal tracks that are being used, David Lee Roth supposedly using the vocal tracks of Michael Anthony when he's out doing his little Vegas stunts and stints. It's highly likely they would have to bring in some vocals to help with some of these parts. Also, Christine McVie, or at least it showed up in this recent article, says that Stevie Nicks might not be up for this either. And remember, Stevie Nicks did a really good job at scaring all of her fans not to come out of their houses last year, like incessantly, along with people like Paul Stanley and so forth. So are we ready for a world tour? Will people show up for the world tour? That is the question. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. Here's what I think ought to happen. And I wonder what Lindsey Buckingham is thinking, like, yeah, I'm going to share the stage. Remember, Lindsey Buckingham, I think at one point during the Finn and Campbell thing, I don't know if he called it Fakewood Mac, but he did say, I think it was kind of like a cover band. And so is Lindsey going to share the stage with Neil Finn and Mike Campbell? Any of the guys that replaced him? Or did Mick Fleetwood just want to bring in people who didn't replace Lindsey? Or Stevie, for that matter? Because in the mid-'90s, I think everybody flew the coop, right? And they brought in, it was like Mick Fleetwood and friends at that point. And I just can't imagine them just doing this big collective thing. But again, you float the trial balloon out there, the fans react. Again, I'm still just hoping that they'll reunite with Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. I mean, that will be the greatest show to see. Those two getting back together again on stage. Will it happen? Depends how much money is involved. I'm sure it would be a very large payday, but the question really is, can this band actually pull it off? If they're using the same technology that a lot of bands are using or employing to augment their sound, then yeah, unfortunately, you're not going to get a real authentic Fleetwood Mac show, but you'll get a audio performance that will make your ears probably happy because you'll hear things that are familiar, not necessarily live things, but things. And that's just what AI is all about these days. You can use it pretty much for everything, and I'm sure these guys will do that. If they had a true authentic like jam thing where everybody gets on stage and they play these songs and everybody's up there with whatever instrument they play and just banging the songs out and being authentic, even if they don't sound 100%, I would appreciate that far more than them just trying to cover up all of their imperfections, which at this stage there'll be quite a few. So it's interesting, and I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. Could be that Mick Fleetwood may have had a little bit too much of that wacky tobacco this afternoon. I don't know, but he says he doesn't do it anymore. So I'm just gonna, just go with that. Just gonna take him at his word, because all those guys have been clean and sober for what? How many years now? 2? No, just kidding. For a very long time. In any event, we'll see how the fans react to this. It should be maybe comical. I know on a lot of social media platforms, Fleetwood Mac has taken a real beating since they fired Buckingham. And now all of a sudden, hey, there's a giant bag of money here. Lindsay, come on back. That's the only way that band should reunite. And yes, they should get paid for that, but it should be the Rumours lineup, and that's it. If you need people behind the curtain, put them behind the curtain. And if you need those vocal tracks, well, you better start sampling all those great vocals from the past, especially from Christine McVie, because I think you're going to need it. All right, I am done. Thanks for watching. And of course, I will see you soon.